Don't you know that the music should be solemn?
Hi.
Yeah.
Hola. ¿Cómo está?
Yeah, muy bien. So here's the deal. It's Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Reaper Reviews.
Some might call it, wait, Sons was on Tuesdays, right, when it aired?
Yeah.
Teller Tuesdays, they used to call it? Teller Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we have to come up with something for the Wednesday. I used to call these Woo Wednesdays for the Wu-Tang.
Woohoo!
But we could do it for this too. We just got to find out something.
Let's go with the ZZZ.
Wacky Wednesdays.
Wacky Wednesdays. I love it. Done. Sold to the highest.
Sold.
Theo Rossi.
So I was just saying to you before we got on this, I think this for me so far, and this is crazy to think, this is my favorite episode we've ever done.
So far.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Which one
do
we
know
doing?
Why? We're doing season 2, episode 11, Service.
Yeah, that's it.
This was recommended to us by a ton of people.
A lot of people.
You want to know what's funny? What I didn't do last week? I just remembered.
What?
I didn't say who wanted us to do season 2, episode 1. And I'm probably not going to find it. And I'm not even going to go look for it. But this episode.
Yeah,
Season 2, episode 11. I can't tell you how many people actually asked for it, so I'm just going to do a few.
A lot.
Someone _MJ.
Yeah.
That person asked for it. Someone Taylor Hurnett. These are just 2 people who have asked, but when I tell you tons, here's another one. Who's this? Wendy 1776. Everybody asked for this episode, and I didn't know why. I'm going to tell you. I didn't know why. Well, do I now know? Holy shit. There's a lot going on in this episode.
Well, first of all, what episode isn't there a lot going on? But there's a lot going on in this one.
So hold on. We've done season 2, episode 1. We've done season 2, episode 10, where Gemma tells everybody to save him from going nomad. Yeah. Well, here this is right after this. Have we done any more episodes in season 2, or is this the
I have no idea. I have no idea. I really have no idea. I think we've done season 2, episode 3. We finally did we do 1? I don't. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I'm trying to look, but like this is pretty obvious that I'm trying to look. Just because I don't know. I really don't know.
You're allowed to look. This is
we did season 2, episode 3. You're right. We did Fix. There you go.
Yeah,
that was back when you were outside and you had the metal trees behind you. I just saw that. Okay. So, and we did season 2, episode 2.
There you go.
We are rocking through season 2.
We are. And we're going to go back to season 1, by the way.
Yes, we are. We're doing 2
going back.
We're going back.
We're going to do 2 in a row from season 1. We don't know which ones yet.
We are like knocking out season 2. But let me tell you something.
Oh,
this was like its own. It could have been its own movie.
That's actually really brilliant. That's
it. Really could have. It could have been its own movie. It could have been its own. You didn't even need to know anything that was going on. You just knew shit was
so
flying all over. I'm just going to start with, of course, it opens up. I have my notes. I tried to do what you did last week, and I wrote them on paper. I need to
didn't work
on my phone. No, it didn't work.
Got to have them on your phone.
I drop water on the paper. There's oil on it.
And before you continue stumbling, Rossi, I just want you, because you knew it then, I'm going to remind you now, this was the episode that I was going to quit the show. I'm out. And we'll get to that in a minute. Go ahead. Keep going.
And we're going to know why very soon, by the way,
Right.
because I did not remember any of this.
Right.
Jax is back. He's sewing those patches. He's ready to
Did
kick
you
ass.
see him sew those patches? That's
like
what
Mary
a true
Jane.
biker
He's
does,
Mary Jane.
man.
Yeah. Sewing the patches.
No. Yeah, come on. We go back to the caveman days. We do it ourselves. Do it ourselves. Needle thread, and that's true. You talk to DL about that. Yeah,
he's sewing them on. And remember now, we're coming right off, and this is an episode we talked about already. We did. So if you really want to watch something cool, go watch this and 10, right? Watch 10 first, then watch this. She just told everybody, about, you know, what happened.
Yeah.
And this isn't even the finale. This is what's so amazing about this show. This isn't even the fucking finale.
We got 2 more after this.
We got 2 more after this. I am fucking on the edge of my seat when I'm watching episode 11 because she just dropped the bomb on everybody. She tells everybody what's going on, that she was assaulted by these guys, that it definitely was Weston, that it's definitely Zobel's crew. Jax was about to leave. Fucking mea culpas all around. Everybody's fine now because now it's all about Gemma and getting what we need to do. So it opens up with him sewing those patches. He ain't going anywhere. And I got to tell you, he is in a different realm. Jax is like the Terminator at this point.
He's like, if you can imagine what Jax must have felt like with all the animosity between Clay and Jax, which is one of the reasons why Gemma, in the previous episode that we've already discussed on Reaper Reviews, has to tell Jax and Clay what happened to her. She was saving the club. She was saving Jax from going nomad, and she was going to release a pain. Tara was there, listened to the whole thing. Now, this scene, here's Jax, right? Here's that fucking fly again.
Does it
I got
live
flies
there?
in my house.
Do the flies live there?
I got flies in my house.
Is there dead bodies in the house?
There must be. Tig Traeger lives in this house. Oh, wait. I did play a guy called Tig Traeger. So Jax is, he's in a different place. You can imagine what this must have done to him. He put his hand on Clay's shoulder in the previous episode. There's going to be some kind of bonding or fixing, as we're about to see, between those 2 characters. But what I loved about this scene with Tara and Jax is Jax handed her a gun. A gun. Mm-hmm. Like, take it. Like, she's a doctor. Yeah, she's got a tattoo on her lower back there, but she's a freaking doctor. And he's just giving her a gun like it's a piece of candy. Whoa, this show.
That's the realm he's in. And now we see one of the coolest moments ever. And I hope I have this right because, you know, Clay at the door. That's
it.
In less than 10 seconds, every bad thing between them is gone. And the way they show it in the story, fuck, the blocking, the story is come to my son. He holds the baby.
He gives it right to dad, to grandpa. Grandpa sits down. And grandpa's sitting down in the rocking chair. It's Clay. Smiles at him. Well, who wouldn't smile at that face? Who wouldn't smile at Clay Morrow Hellboy's face like that? I do. I did every day.
They have to.
And here's Jax talking about what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
While the baby's there, they're talking about murdering people.
And did not Jax say, he said, we're going to kill them all.
Well, I'm going to get to that line in a second.
Okay.
Right before it, I balled up a little. I got to tell you, I'm an emotional guy. We all know this. But weirdly, only with entertainment stuff, not in my own personal life.
Isn't that
funny? Isn't that crazy? Like, I could cry in a scene in a second. I could cry watching a telephone book commercial. I don't think they do those anymore. But I could cry watching anything like that.
Don't get me around Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I bawl like a baby.
But in my personal life, I got nothing. I got nothing.
Got time for that.
You put on Harry and the Hendersons, you probably don't know the movie. I'm crying. But I got to tell you, in my personal life, nothing. Dry. But entertainment, I'm a mess.
Boom.
Okay.
Mess.
So when he says, sorry, son, Clay says to him, like, sorry, son, for what happened to your mom, what happened to my wife. I fucking almost went down. I go, oh my God.
You took a knee.
This is a giant moment. And then they're discussing Gemma, and he says, we kill them all. I felt like I was Rocky Balboa. I was going to run to the ring and start fighting.
Yeah.
Let's go. I was like, let's go. Let's go. And if you're a fan of Sons at that point and you're watching that show, you must have been like, we are going to get these guys right now, but we can't. That's what's so crazy. We can't. So the chapel scene we go to me, one of the most powerful scenes, and it's short. It's not even that heavy. We didn't milk it. We didn't like make a big deal. What do you have on that? Because
I have that it was probably you're talking about the chapel scene. We're all going to find out what happened to Gemma, right? Clay's going to tell us. Is that the one you're talking about? That's right. What I have. I have written down here, that was the biggest pause in the 7 years of Sons of Anarchy. Clay starts to speak and he stops. And there was a pause that lasted 13, 14 seconds before he then tells us about Gemma. And again, I don't know why I keep bringing this up, Theo, but those chapel scenes, the church, like, they're just amazing. I don't know what it was about us sitting down with the one bad chair and then the emotion of it all. And it's kind of amazing.
I think because, and I've thought about this as well. I remember never being overly excited about a chapel scene. And I'm going to tell you why. You're stationary. You're not moving.
No.
Usually someone has a giant monologue.
Yeah.
If there is no giant monologue, it's the whack-a-mole, the talking. Like he talks.
You have
a
one line here, one line here. You talk hard to do.
So you never got you never got really excited to film them because they just felt, oh, we're going in there, we're going to do this, and that's going to lead us to somewhere. Like we're doing that scene to push the narrative that play. So they just felt whatever. And I think as actors and as artists, we would come there and be fun. We'd all sit around and, we joke around, but it was kind of like, okay, let's go out.
But good for you. That's what it is. That's what it was. Now that I'm saying this we were all together.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't on Tommy and your island, me and the Gemma island. We actually were together as a club.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very true. So this scene, come on, bro, like, the look on all our faces.
Again, I even thought he probably could have went more. Like he didn't say it was multiple people. He didn't say all this stuff. He didn't even have to. And the reactions and everything was just so, again, now you're just ready to go. That's what I said. It was so intense as a group. And I was so proud of us, the way it was played. I don't know who directed the episode. I probably should know these things. It was. I
can't remember. I should have looked it up, but just amazing
probably should have
job.
looked it up. Do you want me to look? Do I care? Do we care?
Sure, whatever. We're just going to tell how much whether it was Steven or Billy or Gwyneth. I mean, could have been.
What do you think it was?
I have no idea. I can't remember.
Yeah, you don't know. I'm going to look it up right now. You know why? Because that's what I do. That's what I do.
Season 2, episode 11.
Here it is.
Service.
Phil Abraham.
Wow.
Phil didn't do much.
Phil didn't. He only did a couple.
Phil directed me in Luke Cage.
He got busy. He moved on.
Big Sopranos director.
Phil, good for him.
Big Sopranos director. Shout out to him. I know he's got a bunch of Emmys, I think. He's directed one of the best episodes I've ever seen in this one. And I'm going to tell you why. So Gemma is all spun out in the scene with Tara, I wrote. Goes to Tara and Jax and she's talking about the cheating thing and how Clay won't want her. And, and it gets, you could see Tara's wheels are like, going crazy because she's thinking about her relationship with Jax, which, sadly in life, that's what happens to a lot of us is somebody's telling you kind of what's going on with them. And then you're thinking what that means in your own life. And
yeah.
I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but that's fine. We can do whatever we want.
No, go whatever you want.
It's what people say about when you go to wakes and funerals. They say that people aren't as sad for the person that left, but it reminds them of their own mortality, like that you're going to pass. So people, while they're upset that someone has gone, it reminds them of their own, which is what even makes them more upset, right? And I felt like at that moment, Tara's listening to Gemma, and she's like, man, I'm like with this guy, and she's saying that Clay's not going to like her or want to be with her anymore because they want their own. And that leads to that next scene, right?
Yeah.
Which gets her all hyped up with Jax, and she goes in and, we're doing this thing with all pulling our guns, which is funny. Let's go back to, do we never have guns? Do the Sons never have guns?
I don't think we ever had one gun in the whole show. And we certainly needed to buy more all the time.
We
had no money to buy them,
but we didn't have guns.
Were we on loan the whole time? We were on line of credit. Did Tig have a line of credit of $4,200 and just kept using it for guns?
Where's the warehouse of guns? Where's all our guns?
It was in episode 1, season 1, for the first 20 minutes. We had tons of guns, and then it blew up and it burnt, and we never had a gun after that. We're always buying them and trying to get them. Had
never
the money.
have enough. Never have enough. Never have money. Never have anything. So again, here we are. We're all grabbing our little like pea shooters to go in a big fight, and Jax gets confronted by Tara, and she's like, you know, literally lays everything on him about cheating, about this, about that. Great little scene between them. All right, bud, I'm going to tell you something. You're not going to hear it a lot from me, but you're going to hear it right now.
Yeah.
And maybe this will change. This is easily your best episode up to this point, and you've had some doozies. Tell me about, because we're about to get into it. Did he approach you before this? What happened with this Tig and Gemma thing?
This is God's honest truth. We all got the episode. We would get episodes. We'd get 2 or 3 before the season started, maybe 4. But as the season went on, and Sutter and his brilliance and all his writers, we would get them a couple days before, maybe 3 days before. We're actually, you know, we'd have a table read sometimes on the day that we're filming another episode. Always, I got this episode a couple days before we were going to start filming, and I started reading the episode. And it's pretty early on in the episode with the Tig Gemma thing. And I started reading it, and Tig's drinking vodka. And I know where Tig was at that moment. This is the 11th episode of, 12, 13 episodes since the killing of Donna. And he's a mess. He's doing mushrooms and holding babies and crying. And he's a mess. And we all knew now the Gemma, why she's been such a mess, because we just got told what happened. And the chapel scene. So I read the scene, and then I read what they're necking and up against the wall. I put it down. I put the script down, and I called Sutter. I was at home, and I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And he said, you're not doing what? I go, I'm not doing the Gemma thing. I'm just not doing it. He goes, where are you? I said, I'm at home. He said, come to the office. Got on my bike, went to the office. Had the day off. There he is sitting at his desk, and he says, sit down. I sat down, and he goes, what's going on? What's your problem? What's going on with you? And I said, I'm not, Clay, I wouldn't do that to Clay. Tig wouldn't do that to Clay. He said, wouldn't do what? And I said, that scene. And he goes, well, hang on a second. This world of the club, 1%ers, Sons of Anarchy, is filled with sex, drugs, rock and roll, lies, the truth. Yes, it's brotherhood. Yes, it's love, but it's a fucked up world. And at this time, he said, I hope you kept reading. I said, no, I didn't. He said, oh, you didn't read the next scene? I said, no, I did not. I go, well, can I tell you what happens? I go, sure, go ahead. He goes, you go to Opie and tell him that you killed Donna. I go, I sit back. I look at Kurt, and I go, keep going. And he goes, Tig doesn't come on to anyone. Gemma doesn't come on to anyone. Gemma and Tig happen to be at a precipice of pain that they needed something from each other for a moment. And it's Gemma who parts her slit of her dress. It's her who pulls you. It's you who smells her. It's you that has been since the killing. It's such a like, and then it ends, Coatsy. He goes, it doesn't go in. I put my motorcycle back on. I hugged him. I left the room. And then I read the whole thing. And that episode for me, and man, you had so many of them, as did Tig, as did Chibs. We all, when Kurt could write for us, we would have stuff that we'll never forget. That moment for me in the show, of being able to do that with Katie and then go right outside and do it with Ryan was, and Sutter did a very, I'm going to get to it in a minute about Ryan and me. And the end of this episode with Stahl and Ryan. Sutter did a very good job, and Handel and all our ADs, of doing things with emotional episodes somewhat in order. Somewhat in order. And that day, that episode, that scene with Katie was was magic, man. It had it all, right? Didn't it, Theo?
Yeah. I let me start by, because I've broken the whole thing down in my mind. Obviously he has everything going on. It's all building. Now we're getting to the tip of the spear of all the stuff that happened since Donna, right?
Yeah.
It's all happening. He's getting there. Now he just finds out about Gemma. And she says, do you want orange juice with that vodka, right? Whatever. And he says, I'm so sorry. By the way, it starts right there, because as he hugs her, you kiss her on the lips.
Right on the lips.
Okay. Planned, unplanned, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But right there, as an audience member, you go, what the fuck was that? Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the first thing. But you guys, she kind of looked a little like, wait a second. But you, same thing, just moving along. Yeah, we're just packing guns. Like nothing. Like it was nothing.
Nothing.
Then, goes to help with the boxes. Let me help. Again, Tig is just lost in his own world. Goes to hit the box. The boxes all fall. Da-da-da. It's when you go to pick it up, when she removes that leg. So she's been thinking it since the kiss. He wasn't thinking it until the leg comes out. And even then he looks, that could have went away in a moment, but then she pulls him in. Man, I got to tell you, to make something good, you have to get on the ride. You got to put the safety bars down, and you just got to let it take you. From the second you're swigging from that vodka bottle, doing your business with the guns, you're on a ride. And that ride goes until she's against the wall and Tig's pants down and whatever it is and whatever happened. It was just like, it just took you as an audience and you're going, oh my God, are they about to do this? Is this happening? What's going to happen? I know he's in a bad place. How is this going to affect everything? And oh my God, and oh my God, oh my God. And it goes, and then you see the pictures of the kids, Jackson and Thomas. And that obviously changes everything. I have a question, which I probably shouldn't ask till later, but does Clay ever find out about that?
No.
Never.
Wow. Never. Not one time. And these are, I don't know. I kind of believe in this. I think sometimes they're not lies. They're just, you just don't talk about it. Like it would have been different if Clay would have come up to Tig and said, did you slam my wife against the wall? Were you guys necking? Did you have your pants down? Then that's either called a lie or you tell the truth. But something like that happened for both of them, to have a release of the pain that both of them were in at that moment. And I'm glad you brought that first kiss up, because I need to tell you that in the script, this is where, Sutter never misses a beat. It said in the script, Tig lost swigging vodka. Gemma comes over, you should put some orange juice in that. We need some guns. And then Tig forgets the booze and himself and realizes he hasn't even, like, hi, baby. I'm so, like, but what Tig did, kissed her right on the lips.
Was that written?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
wow.
Yeah. It just says, Tig kisses Gemma on the lips. So how do you do a grandma kiss on the lips or an aunt on the, how do you do a Tig Gemma kiss? Well, I've always thought that Tig and Gemma had a very, very, and in fact, we'll talk about this if we should be so lucky to be doing this in a year. There was going to be something with Tig and Gemma in those last couple of seasons, which didn't go that way. But right now, right here, no, it was all about the club for Tig.
I was just about to ask you that. Was it ever brought up again by the two characters?
Well, not really, because, the third season, we've already done a couple of the third season with Stephen King and me and Monique and Hal Holbrook and me and Gemma being together. And the baby, have we done the baby oil? No, we haven't done that yet. Oh,
yes, somebody said, didn't you? And this was, I got to, again, into the comments. Somebody said that we missed the line, or we missed the part where you come out in the robe.
We haven't done that show yet. We haven't done that show yet.
All right, so somebody's in. Yeah, good. Don't try to confuse me on the comments, because you'll get me every time. Okay, So
we haven't done that episode yet.
Okay. So wait a second. So it wasn't really brought up, but did you as an actor, you as Tig, did Tig Traeger play that for the rest of the series? That there was something with you two, even if it was slight, or was it just forgotten about?
I forgot about it. I forgot about it because there was so much going on with all of us. I mean, it was never, I mean, I got to tell you, I'm sure you're the same way, but this is yours and my first foray into saying yes to a regular starring on a show like this that was maybe going to go on for 7 years, which it did. I never knew where Tig was going to go. We would talk about it briefly with Sutter at the beginning of every year, but you never really knew where he was going to go. So when I had time to think about it in certain writings of scenes, you bet I did. But there was so much going on in this show that Gemma and I just had a very warm, respectful. You remember this in season 4, I believe, when I ripped the Sergeant at Arms patch off. It's because Clay and anyway, we'll talk about all that. But no.
But so now here you are, obviously filmed on different days. You have this. The way it's cut, the way it is in the television show, is now here he comes. We're gonna go right into this Tig and Opie scene.
Yeah.
And again, strap in, because now you come up, this kid's working on his bike. Opie always being the very standoffish. It's so perfect, by the way, that him and Piney were father and son, because they both have this thing where like they never give excess words. Like, it's just like, you're working on the bike? Yep. Like, it's like, there's no more to that. Someone Juice would ramble about, someone giving him a piece of gum. These guys just talk for like one word answers, right? And you're sitting there, he's just into his bike and doing his thing. And whatever had just happened, and again, this I'll let you talk about it, but from the audience perspective of me being that audience, is like, fuck, is he bringing up Donna? And then like you bring up Donna, and I got to tell you, I think it was probably, to me, and right now it's definitely the best scene I've seen on the show. And the reason why is it goes from 0 to 1,000 in like 4 seconds. And it didn't need to. There was no need for you to tell him. There was no point of it. You just had to do it. And it goes with you wouldn't. Why? I want to ask you a question.
And may I say,
please,
that Tig, at that moment, from what happened with Gemma and the unleashing of pain between those two human beings, stopping it before it got fucking, you can't forget if it went further. We stopped it between first and second base, thank goodness. But that threw Tig into okay, we got to go find out. And I had to know. I had to know why he wasn't in the truck. I had to know what happened. What happened? And then from the truck, he's going, "Why are you asking?" And then I went, "It was Stahl." Like it's so beautifully written that it wasn't like it just one thing. Please stop talking.
But think about how nuts that is. You're saying to him, "Why wasn't it you?" Because you should be the one that's dead. You
should be dead, not your wife. Yeah.
But you're saying it to the person who's alive that should be dead. It's so
that is
crazy.
That is crazy writing. That is why we have millions and millions of fans around the world. And Ryan Hurst. I remember we talked about the physicality of the punches. How remember De Niro in Mission, he wanted to repent and climb up that mountain with heavier and he almost killed. I didn't care if I died. I didn't care if I lost an eye. I wanted him to hit me and hit me and hit me as the character over and over. And I got to tell you something. You weren't there for the blocking of that scene.
Mm-mm.
And were you in the scene when Clay, were you with us?
Yeah, we all come out.
We all come out, right? And I remember the stunt coordinator, we all talked and I said to Ryan, the stunt coordinator, I think we should go until Opie doesn't want to punch anymore. And that was what we did. And we just did it over and over, and more takes and more blood and more takes and more cuts. And I remember looking up at him. And again, the staging is beautiful. He's taller than me. Anyway, we're all, well, you're short, but
5'11", buddy. 5'11".
With boots, with a lot of help. With a lot of help.
5'10" and a half.
Yeah, a lot of help.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Everybody's over 6'5" on that show.
I just got, I sunk and I sunk and I sunk, and he got taller and taller. And it was just, it was a beautiful, beautiful thing.
And but the way he jumped up like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. Like he came flying at you.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And then he just had you on there. And again, when he has his arm back and you say the thing about stall, which is, obviously really important. But to me, my favorite line was when we all come out. If I'm correct, I didn't write it down. So maybe I hope I'm correct is, you say, I don't even know who I am anymore. And I was like, holy shit, this is so, because here's why this is such an important scene. Because as a viewer, you go, where the fuck did it go from here? How do you fix this? How do you get past this? How does this exist in their world? Did we just ruin the club for life? No
kidding. No kidding.
It's season 2. You can't ruin the club for life. And
sorry, Theo, that's so good. And think about this. Gemma, just in the previous episode, told Clay and Jax about what happened to her. Now we're even getting deeper. And Sutter's just going, not only is this not the final episode of season 2, but we got more issues to talk about. Let's just get this whole Tig Donna thing out of the what?
Yeah. So it's not hanging over us. Let's bring it up. Let's do it right now. One of the biggest, by the way, it only happened 10 or 11 episodes before. Let's just do it now. Well, you think maybe that'll happen in season 5 or 6. Let's do it now.
Maybe never. Let's do it right now.
And by the way, this is why, again, go into the brilliance of this show. It's only episode, what is this, 11? It's only episode 11. There's 2 more after it. These are storylines that could be finales.
100%.
Opie finding out about Donna could be a finale.
100%.
It's not. It's the middle of the season.
No.
So now he goes after Stahl.
And may I got sorry, I love it. Let's move on. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong a few times in my life. But I'm just not sure that Tig and Clay, even though at the end of this episode, this one that we're talking about, Tig has a moment with Clay that's beautiful and brilliant. But right here, when Clay goes to Tig, what did you do? Tig says, I told Opie I killed Donna. You could hear Bobby's face, everyone's face was, what? I'm not sure Tig and Clay were ever the same from that moment on. They were still this, but they were more that.
That's a great observation because it's so true when you think about it. It's really so great because you have said to him many times before this, I will do anything.
Anything.
At any time. You were
anywhere.
Tig Traeger's introduction was watch the president at all points. Protect the king, right? That was the whole deal.
That's what Sergeant at Arms do.
That's what he does. And now all of a sudden, that's his role. Protect the king. And now, you're right. It was never the same. And it's so funny because if Clay was in that situation, would he have said anything? Maybe not. Maybe Clay is more cold-hearted, more calculated, whatever we come to find out as we delve more into that character. But really, your arc it's amazing how many arcs Tig has had, like as a character. It's like all these different, it's almost like there's different ones at all times. But here it is, the humanity of this character is in full force. And he's, a cold-blooded killer who now we have a humanity about. So again, watching, but again, also thinking about the whole club, hearing that and going, what? We don't know. What?
No.
Who? Everybody's been lying and it's been so long and this guy's life is ruined. And so again, just could be a finale. Not. It's a fucking beginning
well
of a
said,
scene.
Theo.
So he goes to Opie. Opie goes after Stahl. I'm on the edge of my seat now because I'm thinking.
I forgot all this shit.
Forgot all this. I'm on the edge of my seat. I didn't know if he beats her up. I didn't know if he kidnapped her. I don't remember anything. I am on the edge of my seat. He's following her at the same time. Jax is doing his thing, running around. So what we get in the middle of that is we get Bobby scene with Clay, which is like he's asking him for his guidance.
Yeah. Clay's asking Bobby. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. There's the first 9.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of like a second wave, I would assume.
Yeah.
So Bobby's got to be in like the first 20, right? Is it something like that?
The first 9 is Teller, Piney, and Clay Morrow. That's what we know. And then there was 6 other guys. I think the one guy in Ireland.
Yeah.
That he was one of the original 9, first 9. But guys like Tig and Bobby and even Chibs in a way, not Jax, not you. You guys are the young guys who came. We were part of that next wave. You bet we were.
The next wave.
That's right. 100%. Yeah.
So he's been like he's like the Tom Hagen character from Godfather from an early time.
100%.
Yeah.
He's the money guy. He's our secretary.
Yeah.
He's got a really calmness about him. Should have a calmness about a fatherly figure. Should, but he's still a biker, man.
Yeah, and he didn't know what to do at that point. And what I have there is that's such a very intense scene with guidance. Here comes Half Sack, right? Coming in. What's funny about the Half Sack character, not talking on, whatever happened with that life of
John.
The actor that played him, right? And that's a whole nother thing. My thing is this. I do think, and maybe I'm wrong, I probably am. Every time I say that, I'm wrong. But I do think that maybe they wanted that character to potentially be bigger, the Half Sack character. And he became, really that comic relief. It would always be like a trade-off between him and Juice in the beginning of like comic relief. There were a lot of episodes I wasn't in and he was in the beginning. And it would almost seem like he would get some of that comedy stuff. And that's what we see in this, right? It goes into that enlarged, his infected, his new implant.
Into the one nut. Yeah.
The one nut. And it gave a little levity.
Well, levity, schmevity. I mean, what it gave is, here we are. We just had those 2 scenes you talked about. Then we have Bobby. It's all serious. And then let's have Tig so happy and relieved that he's just given his soul. It doesn't matter anymore now. It was a great thing for Tig to release. It was a release. Gemma, right? And then you have Half Sack with one nut, Tara. It's so funny. And he's pulling it down. I'm throwing up. It's just, I think to answer your question about Johnny and that character, and I'm not a writer like Sutter is. I'm not a writer like some of these incredible writers you two have been fortunate to work with. But sometimes you're just done with the character. Sometimes and the story changes other characters around you. And I think Half Sack, we not only needed him, he was that incredible trying to do good, show the biker world, show what these 1%ers, we have prospects, what do they do? But somehow there was just no more room for that character in where the story was going. And I think that maybe that's what happened with Half Sack, because he was,
Again, what we did, and I was just looking at it, and again, it did change towards the end, towards the final seasons, is like you just said, we were able to take your breath away, make you completely think the worst, what's going to happen, I feel so terrible, to laughing.
Yeah.
But listen, the theater faces drama, right? Happy and sad. This is what
100%.
Entertainment is supposed to be. That's the theater. That's what this is. You're supposed to feel everything. You're not supposed to just feel one way.
No.
You can't. there's a movie, you know, you can't be all Requiem for a Dream, and you can't be all, you know, Adam saying Happy Gilmore. You got to get that middle, right? And when you get that middle, that's when things become beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love both those movies, by the way. I'm just saying that to when you want to do something that's compelling, that's not a film, it's not 2 hours, not an hour and a half, it's 7 years of people's lives, you better give them the waves. They got to ride the waves. And that was a perfect moment for that character, and that, and you're all in it. Like everybody's in it. Everybody comes in, and it's right after these really heavy scenes. So it made me think, because we haven't talked a lot about Half Sack. I think the only other episode that I really remember him even being in is the mushroom one, like with us.
He's got some funny stuff coming up. You'll remember when we do it, but he's got some stuff coming up where he rides that little scooter. He rides that little, you know, and that's kind of his episode in a way. We really send him on a mission,
God, about
and
all
it's
that.
very funny. That's in season 1. We'll get into that.
Okay, so now here we are.
We go to Piney next, if I may.
Please.
Piney goes to his wife.
Oh,
and the door opens, and you know, again, I'm supposed to know this. I don't know anything.
No.
And Piney knocks on the door, and there she is, and God, she's so great, this gal, and we've talked about her before, and she did like 7 or 8 episodes, and there's Piney, and she's going, "What are you doing here?" And he's going, "I screwed up with my son. It wasn't you." And he's getting all remorseful, and he kisses her. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, what the fuck? I don't remember that. What's
her line back? Her line back is amazing.
And what did she say when she? What
do you got?
Remember?
The cancer? Do you got the cancer?
What do you got? The cancer? You got the cancer?
She says it to him because he's like
the cancer.
The cancer. She doesn't say cancer. She goes, "Do you have the cancer?"
The cancer. You got
because
the cancer?
He literally is pouring his heart out, and she assumes that he must be dying, and he's trying
Good
to
for you, Theo. No, and then he folds his cutaway. And anyway, I forgot what he was about. I thought he was going to quit the club, drive away, go off a cliff. I couldn't remember anything.
I don't remember anything. And you know what I wrote there? I wrote they should do a prequel on like Piney, because like we learned so much about him in minutes. We learned about that he thinks he was a bad father and is responsible for this.
No shit.
He kisses his ex-wife, so we learn a little about their marriage and what that looked like. Then when he opens that drawer, we see the picture of the first 9.
Yeah.
We see his military stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's no words being said here, and we're learning. Yeah. We're literally, it's like this is your life for Piney Winston. We're finding out everything about him, his military stuff. He puts on the army jacket. He folds his cut. And now you know something's happening. And again, because you and I remember nothing, I'm thinking he's either leaving, or I'm trying to think, what is he going to do? And I'm thinking, I go, wait a second. I think that, okay. So now, again, I'm still on the edge of my seat from before. Again, I think Piney could legitimately have his own show. So,
love it. Love all that.
Okay. I said we never have guns. Okay. Here's something that's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever talk about Chibs being registered as a confidential informant. She's about to put...
No, he's going down as a rat. There's no doubt. Chibs is going to make a big-ass mistake, and he's torn, and he's absolutely torn. And here he is again with her, ATF, going down. Ouch. And then, again, I don't know about you, Theo, but didn't it seem to you how convenient Jax was spying on the Ope? All of a sudden, Opie spying on the Chibs. Like, everyone kind of knows somehow what the other guys are kind of doing. So, a little,
When Opie caught him coming out, I was like, I literally did one of those. I was like, oh, like, I didn't even remember, had no idea. I was like, oh, he knows. I didn't know.
No, Opie. No, don't see that.
I can't believe he saw Chibs. I'm going, oh my God, he knows. That's how little I know about this show.
Nothing. I know less than you.
Did you know that Opie caught him?
No, I forgot.
Me too.
Totally forgot.
Okay.
But but then there's a reason why Sutter zings you out there. What the fuck? And then you figure out what's going on coming up. Go for it.
Okay. So now we get to see another thing that I didn't know. Zobel working with Alvarez.
That's what I wrote. There you go. Deal with Alvarez. And Jax watches that go down.
We're pushing narrative. We're finding out everything.
Yeah.
We're telling the story without telling the story. Right now, we're doing it all. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Opie and stall scene. I want to talk about this for a minute. He doesn't kill her.
Can I say something first?
Please.
This episode, I've already told you I was going to walk. Can you believe that was like 45 minutes ago? We're still talking about this.
Can't believe it.
Okay. So Ryan reads this episode, and he told me this later. He said to the ADs, please, can we shoot the Tig Opie confession scene first before I take that and then go do what I'm about to do with Stahl? Of course we can. Sutter was very good with his ADs when Big C, right? So Ryan Hurst had in his head all the method internal work we love as actors to do to bring to that Stahl scene.
So important.
So important.
So important. So
that no acting can happen. Just be. Just let it be. And again, Allie Walker, she's got to think she's going down. She's got to think this is it. Am I crazy?
Yeah, and speaking of that, this is a film. The film I'm doing now is one of the first films I've ever done in my life that's shooting chronological order. By the way, it's amazing.
Are you joking?
I know, I'm not joking.
It's like a play.
Yeah.
It's like a play.
Every day. Like
amazing.
You scene 1, 2, 3, then you go to 4, 5, then you go to 7.
Out of Dodge.
By the way it makes your work ethic changes completely. Like you're so prepared to go in the next day because it's a natural progression of character.
Beautiful.
So what a lot of people, what we mean by that is that sometimes when you get an episode or a film, you might shoot the ending day 1 and you might shoot the beginning day 30, right? Now, when you do that, it's really odd, right? Because how do you know what the ending is going to look like if you haven't done day 1? And you have to kind of create this with the director. And then at the same time, you have to hope that it all matches. So what I always say to everyone, and I say this now that I'm definitely more vocal as my career gets more, I go, let's make sure we're all in the same movie. That's what I say. Let's make sure we're all in the same movie, because sometimes you're not in the same movie, right? Like you have to, people are doing different things.
Yeah.
And when you're shooting out of order, but when you're shooting in order, which is so hard to do because it's locations and money and talent, you might only hold certain talent for a day or 3 days. So it's always about money. It's a different type of experience. I've never done this. I'm doing it right now.
Amazing.
So good on Opie that he did that, because that's such an important scene. So when
he knew how important that would be.
It's unbelievable. So when he goes into that stall scene, my thought is he tried to give her a conscience. Like he was like, you don't have a conscience and I'm going to give you one. I think he said, I didn't write the line down, but he says something like the outlaw had mercy.
No, that's it. I have it written down. He leaves the whole scene with, you make sure the outlaw, you tell them, and you feel this, the outlaw had mercy.
Amazing.
That's his line. It's a great line.
And I got to tell you, I don't know if it was written, maybe it was, the alley breakdown in the car, because she's playing it so cool. What are you going to do? Shoot me? What are you going to do this? What are you going to do that? She's playing it all stallish. She's got all the stall going on, and then she breaks down.
Breaks down like a blubbering baby at the end. That was it. She saw her whole life vanish right before, pass right in front of her eyes. That was it.
So now we go from that, and I don't know who this dude is, but whoever played the priest in that scene with Gemma was pretty great.
What a nice little scene.
The guy was great.
What a nice little scene.
I hope it's on his reel, because he was great in that scene. I don't know who he is.
I don't know. He's probably won a freaking Oscar. I mean, I don't know. But
really good in that scene.
So good.
And I don't mean anything by not knowing. I just don't know, because I tell you now I know. He was absolutely amazing. And Gemma, he says, this is such a great line, because, sometimes I might have even used this, where, he says it's been 21 years since he's, done drugs.
And she goes, good for you. And he goes, no good for everybody else.
Oh my God, I love that line.
Theo, I mean it. I've learned a lot from you. Yeah. I know you've learned from me.
Yeah.
That line was remarkable.
Remarkable.
As to what we should and can all learn about ourselves with certain things, with drugs or booze or whatever. That was an amazing line, man.
And it's so simple, but it's a
right.
fucking remarkable line. And then you have to have not just the great line, you got to have the great delivery. And it's coming from a priest who's a former heroin addict. And
Right.
Like, oh my God. It's so good.
So good.
And again, these are things I don't know if fans remember. They remember, you know, the big lines like, you know, let me finish my pie and I you know, I got this. But man, it's lines like that. Yeah. It's lines like good for you, no good for everybody. Come on. It just shows they're always there. You just don't see them sometimes.
Right.
So what I have there,
I love it.
I just really love that scene. I really did. And then she says to him, service to others. He says to her, service to others is the only thing that keeps the self-loathing to a tolerable level. Do you know how amazing that line is? Here's why. Service to others, right? She asked him if God forgives and that whole thing. And he says, service to others is the only thing that keeps the self-loathing to a tolerable level, meaning that we're all wallowing in self-loathing. We all feel this way. And yet by giving to others and being of service, which you and I have done forever and ever in different
and we'll never stop.
And we'll never stop, that it actually does take some of the hurt maybe off that you have for yourself, you know, and whatever.
Love it. Love it.
You can call that selfish thing, call whatever. It just makes you go, I'm going to step out of beating myself up for a minute and I'm going to help people.
Yeah. How about that?
Pretty amazing line. Pretty amazing lifeline, literally by that being about life. All right.
And again, sorry, then we'll move on.
Yeah.
But again, like, what is this scene doing in this movie? Like, how does the pacing and the gravitas and the emotion and the pain and a little bit of laughter, and now we have this scene. The Picasso just never stops.
It's a feature film.
It's a feature film, and it's in 48 minutes. It's just a feature film, and anyway, I just love it. Keep going.
So Opie Jack scene.
Yeah.
It's another side of Opie we don't usually see. I wrote, how do we unmake him? You know, when they have that line about Clay. Tell me, I'm curious to hear your thoughts because this is Opie after you and Stahl.
So are you talking about the church scene now?
No,
are we
I'm
in the
talking
church?
about when him and Jax are in the
him
bedroom.
and Jack. I didn't write anything down because I was in such love of this show. I just you got to talk about it because
he says. Jack says to him, we made him. We made Clay.
Oh, that one. No, I did write about that. Oh, here it is. Yeah, that's right. When Jack tells Opie, the burden is on the club. Clay is Clay, and we made him. Mm-hmm. I think, again, what else can you say at that moment, right? Like Jack said the perfect thing to Opie. You're expecting as a viewer maybe to go, yeah, fuck Clay and Tig and let's run and let's make our own. No. The burden is on the club. This happened because of the club. Clay is Clay. We made him. Whoa, that's heavy. And
how do we unmake him?
How do we unmake that
sets
guy?
Up the entire, sets up everything. One line just sets up everything. How do we unmake him? And he
everything.
Said, I can't do it without you.
Nope, can't do it without you. And don't you think at that moment, sorry, Theo, and don't you think at that moment that we are going to see these two together forever?
Against Tig and Clay. That's my thought. And Clay's in trouble because Tig's
not
fully with him.
That's right. No, forever. We're never going to lose either one.
Do you know how many times you and I, probably because I know I have done it, do you know how many times I would ask myself, like, what team is Juice on? Is he on like Team Jax or is he on Team Clay? Like, who's he with? And you know, because I didn't fit in really over here and I didn't fit in over there. And as my, you know, I was always like, where am I going? If this, because again, as we're reading these episodes and putting myself back in season 2, I was like, man, if we get two different factions here, like one goes one way, one goes the other, where am I going? Who am I with? You know, it was pretty clear who you were with. It was pretty clear who Opie was with. But then again, after this episode, Tig could have been like, sorry, Clay, I'm out. You know?
I think the character of Juice, not only is that completely correct, and we could talk about this till the cows come home, but I think there was no character the club was more family than Juice. the whole club was Juice's family, like true family. I had 2 daughters. Clay had this. Gemma, Jax had 3 kids by the end of this whole thing. I mean, you as Juice, didn't have a soul except for the club. So that would have been a tough call for you.
So now we get to the Jimmy O scene in the bar. Titus has his hair all grown out. Titus plays Jimmy.
Accents are everywhere. Accents are everywhere.
Nobody knows what's
Love
happening.
It.
It's like a sketch comedy.
Not sure what county we're in, but
but he says a great line there. He says, "You can't."
Titus was so good as this guy, man. He was so fucking good.
He's so good at everything. And I've talked. My love for him
so
is
good.
Endless. So he
so
says,
good.
"You can't kill Philip. I've tried." It really made me think about Tommy so much. He is such a unique being. Tommy Flanagan.
My God.
We talk about him all the time. It's almost like Tom. You can't kill Tommy Flanagan.
You can't kill him.
You can't. They've tried.
There's no way. He's not
kill him.
He's not going down. Now think about that line. How cool that he's sitting there. Well, you can't kill him. I've tried.
I've tried.
And Tommy doesn't even look at him. No. He's just so angry. Just so beautiful.
So again, here we are. That's a great scene, right? Because it shows, Chibbs has got this other sub storyline that's building up about his wife and his daughter and all this kind of stuff. So now here we are. Opie's at the table.
Yeah.
And
at that table.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm going to say this, that, Opie's looking at Clay. And we're all around, and he's looking at Clay, and Tommy's not there. And he looks at Clay, and he goes, "This is what I saw. This is what I witnessed. But whatever Chib says, you're going to believe him. Because you didn't believe me. You didn't believe me. You and Tig didn't believe me. I had no idea about Stahl. I had no idea what was going on. But you didn't. When I said I was clean, I didn't tell them any. You didn't believe me. We can't make that fucking mistake again, buddy. You better listen to Chips." That's what he said in that scene.
So let me ask you a question, because you're in that scene in the chapel, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As an actor, as Tig, you're in this chapel scene. That's your first time seeing Opie since everything happened.
Since he beat me up?
Yes.
100%.
So you're not acknowledging or even looking at him or doing anything, because really he's holding all the cards at this point, right?
Well, I actually got to tell you, it's actually a little bit of the opposite. At that moment, and I remember this, man, I felt so much, it is now what it will be. I might take a plug in the back of the neck. He might leave the club. I don't know. But there was no more all I could do was listen. And I think Tig was actually a very good listener, and he fucking listened to him. And so I'm cool, man. I'm cool. I got a big gash, and there's a big gash up there. Whatever Opie's saying.
And he held all the cards. He held all the cards at that moment.
Sure. Why not? Why not?
And he basically, what he tells Clay is he doesn't want any of his business out there. He wants to keep it between the club. He wants to.
I want to stay. I want this between the club. I mean, and that's fucking unreal, right? When you think it was Opie, it wasn't Clay saying, "Hey, this day." It was Opie.
It was Opie
who said, "This stays right here." What happened to my wife, even though it doesn't say, it stays right here. And we're going to start. I saw Chips do this. He's going to come and tell whatever he says, you better listen. Because everything he's going to tell you is going to be the truth.
So Chips come out of the office, here he is.
Come on. And you've had a million of these. I mean, that scene with Gemma, isn't that what makes SOA so great? I mean, isn't it so great?
You know what I wrote? 2 wounded souls.
Right?
Everyone is hurting in this episode. It's truly an episode about pain. That's what I wrote.
SOA at its finest.
I mean, it really is.
Chips and Gemma, come on. And I remember when those two did it. In fact, Theo, everyone should know this. I mean, there's certain times that you and I and the other 8 leads and guest, we would do this show and we wouldn't be there that day, or wouldn't be called in earlier or later. But there's certain times when we're just hanging out, waiting for our, I had a scene first and see what.
You go watch a scene on monitor.
This one, I went and had a peek, because this episode was so big for Tig, so big for you and the club. This was big for Tommy, this scene, and I wanted to be there to see how he was doing, because it was a beautiful, simple, gorgeous scene. Yeah.
And it really was. And again, it just built, and she was going to walk inside, but then she pulls the thing out and she decides to talk to him. And what I wrote too, which I really believe, Gemma was always the rock of the club. I said it, the other day, like Gemma was always the rock of the club before things started to spin. Right. I mean, She really was. And she gave him that shoulder to cry on. She basically told him without knowing really what it was, just tell them the truth. And it really was a great little arc for Chibs with that stuff. And here he comes into the room, and he's going to tell, he's going to tell everybody in the chapel. But before we even know what this full confession mode, and everybody, and Clay listens and hears him out, and because of what Opie said, before we can even think, oh, by the way, let's still talk about that. We're in the same episode where you started off with Gemma, where you told Opie, where Piney did the scene with his wife. We're still in the same episode. So now Chibs, here he is. We're wrapping up.
Opie install everything.
By the way, guys, it's not a finale.
No. And may I just say that as we're talking about this, I have to say that, I don't know if you noticed, but that helmet that Piney takes off his head, the props, I remember talking to Brandon about this, they couldn't find a helmet big enough for his head. I mean, William Lucky, you see, his head's like 4 of mine. And it looked like a little baby helmet, but that's the biggest helmet they could find. They can't make him big enough for William Lucking. That's how big that man is. That's how strong that man is. He popped that little point off the top.
And we're going to talk about how strong he is in a second, because what happens is...
I know what you're going to say.
Oh, my goodness.
You're on Piney detail. I was on Clay detail. Let me tell you something.
He comes in the room. Now, by the way, I kind of realized as a viewer, oh, my God, he's going to try to kill Clay.
Yeah.
When I
remembered it all.
I didn't. Yeah. So he comes in. He can barely fit through the door. He's like the Kool-Aid guy coming through the wall. Oh yeah. He just comes through. He looks like he's going to rip the door down. Right?
He did. You forgot. He actually tore the handle right off.
Oh my goodness. He comes through. And they tell us this. I don't even think Stunts was there, because we didn't have Stunts when it wasn't like a big deal. It was, you're just going to grab him, they tell me.
Good luck.
And you and whoever, I don't know, maybe it was Chibs.
No, I'm gonna tell you. Bobby went around, you went around, and Opie had Piney. I had Clay. Chibi had Clay, kind of in the middle. I had Clay. Jax must have been there. Jax was
right? on Clay. Jax was on.
I think he was on Clay with me. Anyway, you guys had Piney. Good luck.
I can't tell you something. This man, I don't know how old he was then. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it's like to wrestle a polar bear. I don't know. I'll never know. I know that I will leave this life never wrestling a polar bear.
You got close.
But I can say that I wrestled William Lucking for a second, and he was wearing me like a glove. Like he lifted me off my feet. Like, and I'm not at that point.
And he did nothing. He was just shrugging his shoulder. And you went
with
it.
I was like still big at that point. I was still almost 200 pounds. He was tossing me like a rag doll.
No, funny shit, man.
And I said, this guy is an animal. And he came in again. He fired his shots. They missed Clay. Again.
We can't kill it. We can't shoot. We can't shoot anybody. Can't shoot anybody from 4 feet away.
No. So again, here it is. It's not a finale. We have all these things happening. Piney says, here's Opie.
Well, hang on.
Go.
So Opie saves the day, and Opie, and then it's all over. No one got shot. Holy shit. And then Piney, the big polar bear, he's says something. What did you say about,
never wear that cut?
Clay,
never come in without your cut on.
I thought Clay was going to tell him to, you're
Me
done.
too.
Just, hey, old man, never walk into this club again without your cut on.
Amazing.
I mean, and then it never happened again. Like, it's so real. Original 9, couple of the boys scrapping. Oh, wait, he tried to shoot the guy. Like, Piney was going to shoot. I mean, it's over. It's over. Dust it off. We're going to move on. There's too much going on in this club. We got to stay together somehow.
And again, Opie at that point now has used the tragedy of his wife to make two things right: to listen to Chibs, and this is why Opie is such a beloved character, to make them forgive Chibs.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, the club is the only thing my old man has. He's a crazy old man. He's going to be fine. Like, you're going to make this right. You owe me that.
Yeah. I liked what you said earlier, holding all the cards, but they were good cards to hold.
They were good cards.
Opie had great cards and good cards to hold.
So when he comes out, I said, this is what I wrote here. And I really think Opie comes out to talk to Clay. It's the weaving of the webs. It's truly one of the most brilliant things, because everyone has something going on. Pain and more pain. Tig and Clay moment at the end.
Oh, I got to tell you, I love that last little scene between Tig and Clay.
Me too.
Because
me too.
The whole thing kind of started off with that Tig Gemma moment, and it kind of ended now with Tig telling Clay, your wife needs you now more than you got to fix it, and I love you. I remember telling Clay, I love you. And I hugged him. He didn't really hug me. I hugged him. And that fucking gunslinger, Ron Perlman, turns around and goes right for the Telemundo garage. And I just go, I said, I love that last scene between Tig and Clay, and I love that last scene with Clay and Gemma even more.
Yeah, me too.
Even more.
You think he's going to leave when she says, I have a lot of work to do. You think he's going to leave, and instead he slams the door.
He slams the door.
And they get to the desk.
No, we're not going home. And I thought he was going to go. He's just going to get in his bike and go. Oh, wait. He slams the door, takes everything off the desk.
And you know what I wrote? I wrote this here, and I think I wrote it more for myself, but I'll say it. It's like, these were truly the good times. Like these times were before the show was everywhere in the world. Before it was like this giant, undeniable, changed our lives kind of thing.
Juggernaut hit, yeah.
Right, before it was like still a little before that. It was happening. It was definitely happening, but it was a little before that. There was really, the deal. Like when you're on, we talked about this a bunch of times. This isn't a secret. Like, things get bigger and things change, right? People start doing other stuff and things change. Years go by and things change. Relationships change, whatever. But this was like, there's that old term, sex, drugs, rock and roll, or whatever it was. It was like, this was so rock and roll at this point. And looking at all that was happening in that episode, and when it ended, I wrote, these were like the good times. I remember it so clear because it was so wide open.
True.
It was so wide open. It was like,
and we got the club back together.
Yeah.
The Jacksons and the Clays were coming back. I got the whole Donna thing off my chest. Juice was getting bigger and better and more important as we went along. Chibs, the whole who's a rat, who's not, I don't know, man. By the end of this season, and we got 2 more to talk about. Oh, really good. It was a good place to be on Sons of Anarchy.
What a legacy to be part of, and again, there's 2 episodes after this. I can't believe it. I hope people start recommending them because I really want to watch them like immediately. 11, 12, and 13. I don't even know what happens in them.
Juicy Pants. Great job as always, man. But I got to ask you, next week, we're going to go back to season 1 now, right?
Yeah.
Aren't we going to do that? Let's go back to season 1.
From season 1.
Good.
I like this routine of like 2 from each season because it keeps everybody in them.
So do I.
So we'll do 2 from season 1.
Yeah, let's do that.
Then we're going to go do 2 from season 3. And then we're going to come back for 2 from season 2. And I think when we do come back, that's way down the road now. It'll be like a middle one and one of these end ones, one of these.
Love it.
But now what's cool is on the YouTube site, and then obviously what people can do on their own is we're going to start creating folders for the seasons. So all the videos from that season are in specific folders. So if you click season 2 folder, you can get all the ones we've done on 2. But you know, everybody knows the deal, and what
subscribe, right? Subscribe.
They got to subscribe because we're dropping all these clips. We're gonna start dropping. You know, we're doing the apparel soon, ReaperReviews stuff, and all this.
Why not?
Why not? And we have some other cool stuff coming up. But again, we're sticking inside season 3. So when anybody recommends anything, do it inside season 3 for any of the episodes we haven't done yet, within 1, 2, and 3, because we're gonna knock out all of those, which is what, 39 episodes?
Yeah, we're about a third of the way there, quarter of the way there. I don't know.
Probably a quarter.
But let's just pop 1, 2, and 3 seasons 1, 2, and 3. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, but as of
before
right now,
we get going,
before we get going, and it's going to be really interesting too. One of the things I was thinking about today was like comparing the later seasons to these early seasons.
Well, I think that's why you and I decided to do it this way. I'm telling you, Theo, I'm getting so many people loving bouncing around, but we're bouncing only in 1, 2, and 3 seasons 1, 2, and 3, because it's a whole other animal. 4 and 5, a whole other animal. 6 and 7. I mean, there's so much to get into, so many tidbits to share, so much with all the pain and the laughter. This is as fun for you and me as it is for our fans.
I really do. I look forward to this so much, and I absolutely love doing it. And I really do. I appreciate. I think everybody's enjoying it as much as we are. You know, which is pretty awesome because, you know, this is fucking eye-opening. Like, it's like, holy shit. And I get to, you know, even as an artist, I get to see so many incredible performances, and I get to see really good writing.
Right.
And again, it's also nostalgic, and it's something else. It's something I'll never forget. So that's the deal. Go subscribe if you're watching this, wherever that is.
Subscribe, follow.
Subscribe, go to
They'll
Apple.
send you a little, go to Apple.
What are you going to send? You're going to send them pictures of that painting. You're going to send them prints.
I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going anywhere. I still got all my hair. That's kind of amazing.
We look super young.
I still have those.
Look at those eyes. They haven't changed colors yet.
I if I didn't have these notes, kids, I wouldn't wear my glasses, but I got notes. Theo and I have notes.
We have notes.
You think that, and we got stuff to talk about. Write it down.
These are the ones I wrote. Look at this ripped page that's like all drenched in water.
You're back to your phone, buddy. Get back to the phone.
This is silly. I'm writing it on hotel stationery. I don't know what's happening.
Hey, I'm glad you're still in Canada.
I am.
Love to Megan and the boys. We all love you.
Yes.
I'll say to Di, my kids, you know, they always ask.
The girls left. Yeah, the girls.
They're all gone now.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all back in LA and Toronto doing their thing. But love you, buddy.
I love you too, buddy.
I'll see you in a week.
I'll see you in a week.
And are we doing season
1?
1?
Yeah.
2 shows in a row, right?
Yeah, we don't know what yet.
We don't know what yet. All right.
We have to go back and look whatever was, because that's a whole different world now. We're going back like.
Let's go back.
Let's go.
I don't even have this. Who knows?
No,
Skinny.
Tig's not
skinny little Tig.
Tig's not having relations with the president's wife. It's a whole different Tig. All right,
okay,
bro. I love you.
Pants. Love you. See ya. Bye.